Welcome, seekers, alchemists, and soulpreneurs to this week's Astrocast for the week of July 13th through the 19th. Ooh, I'm welcoming all of your intentions here in this space. All of your intentions, especially the most heartfelt, soul desirous ones, because this week is a powerful, powerful week. And I'm going to share a new take for this week on anxiety and pressure and that feeling of anticipation for that which we are desiring to receive into our lives. Because this week is going to be a week where the transits help us to receive. Transit. You are the transit. Transit is about moving, right? Transportation, transformation, transcendence. I am hoping that, especially this week, that instead of looking at the Astrocast like a view of the weather out there, you are able to deeply see yourself. The beauty you are, the love you are, the God self you are, the everything that you are. Because this is a week that part of yourself wants to be felt. It wants to be seen so that you can receive and live the life that you were made for. So this week, we are still in Cancer season, and our feel has been feel your way home. We still have another week in Cancer. What we're feeling is so crucial this week, and what I'm talking about is including the challenging feels. Those are the ones that are signaling to us that the dream is becoming manifest. The dream is becoming manifest. As we move through our week, we start in Cancer, where our feelings are wanting to show us what matters. And then we move into Leo, where we are creating from the part of you that shines, the one that lights you up, the parts of your life that light you up, the stuff deep inside of you that lights you up that you might not even share with anyone or you've held since childhood. This is the week that I'm going to show you how to let that be embraced and come through. And then we'll move into Virgo, where we're refining our days around what truly matters to us. And then we end in Libra, where we're letting the balance rise from our own center, this balance of efforting and ease, this balance of intending and affirming and allowing. Ooh, yeah, this one is really, really potent. So as we start our week on Monday, Venus in Virgo is square Uranus in Gemini, and steady values meet a sudden shift. Let surprise refine what we treasure. And what I feel this one is really about, my mom, a Virgo, she gave me a message today, and it was this in a text: don't settle for less than who you are. Don't settle for less than who you are. And so as we're talking about the transits and the movement that's out there, I want you to really embrace and hold who you are, all of it. Because feeling all of it, touching all of it, accepting all of it, loving all of it, celebrating all of it, the vastness that you are, that is what's going to help you to let the surprise come about what you treasure. You are the treasure, honey. You are it. You are the gold, right? And in this kind of astrology at the Astro Cafe, I'm hoping that you're allowing some soul nourishment. And we talk about that in the cafe every week, right? Let's let ourselves really be nourished, fed by who you truly are and what your soul desires truly are. If you've been told you're too much, if you feel that you're too much, if you've been hiding, dimming, holding back, this is not a week to do that. So find those people where you can be yourself. Find those people that can track you, that can see you. You see you. To touch, to embrace, to allow the God self inside of you. You can't settle for less than who you are. You are big. You are huge. You might feel too much for some people, especially if they're not really embracing the limitless God self within them. But that is who wants to be touched and felt this week. And this new moon in Cancer, you know, this new moon in Cancer, it's not really about a complete fresh new beginning. It's about coming home to yourself, a self that's been there all along. And we're setting our intentions, but also we're remembering the big intentions, the intentions we had as a child when we dreamed of our life, when we dreamed of how we would share ourselves with the world and what our passions were, what lit us up, what we had curiosity about, what we felt wonder about, what brought us awe, right? What brought us awe, that dream life before all of these pieces came of conditioning that set these rules and conditions on these dreams and these ideas and beliefs. It's time for those to go, to just go, because we're wanting those intentions right now. This is the speak, the voice of the stars, of the cosmos right now. The cosmos translates to organized universe, organized, like a living being full of organs. It's organized, and the pieces that are fitting and that truly belong are there, and it's creating a life, right? I've been listening through my life and what I'm creating, taking that bold action of saying yes to the things that feel like a yes and no to the things that feel like a no. And I know many of you are too. And when we do that together and see each other and help each other, we create worlds, and our worlds collide. And when we are holding that, we are manifesting our dream life, the life that calls us, in alignment with our soul mission here, in alignment with the highest good of everyone, and our worlds collide, we only rise each other up, right? And so when we're looking at all the movement, right, the transits, the movement, the transmission, the transportation, the transformation, the transcendence, right? All of these archetypes, these zodiac archetypes, all of these planetary archetypes, they're just pieces of who we are. They're just all the bits, all the juicy bits, all the stardust that make all of it what it is, that make us who we are, right? The God dust in all of us, the spirit that moves and is inspiring us and helps us to create, right? And we know from pop astrology, if we find little horoscopes here and there and they sound a little fearful, or they feel like, whoa, this thing, don't miss it, once in a lifetime only, gotta act now, all that stuff, right? It could be coming from lower conscious, lower frequency messaging, right? Or communication, right? Consider the source. The source here is the highest source within you and within all of us. So the practice in this bridge of becoming that is this week's sky map to navigate, right? This walk of being on our higher path is so that we can practice all of these archetypal pieces the highest way we can meet them, right? The highest vibration that we can meet them, the highest authenticity we are, which means not holding back, not just the authentic part of us in a way that's safe, but really being ourselves, especially with those people that we feel like we can trust. And that's this place here, right? So share your comments if you're wanting to be seen, right? When we're looking at this, setting intentions from a tender center and bringing forth those intentions we've been holding our whole life that want to be seen again in the next rendition of what's new, I think of that Cancer crab. And for those of you who are practicing the frequency and fluency of astrology, I've color-coded some of the words, and those are purely elemental. So when we look at Cancer, it's a water element, right? So we're talking about the feels. We don't want to be so much in a shell that we don't share who we are, but we do want to protect, right? We want to protect the precious cargo we are. We want to protect our values, our dreams, our gifts, so that we can hold them sacred, right? I'll be telling you soon as we go through what to do in my lens, the best I can give you when we're feeling those anxious moments, when we're feeling the rub, when we're feeling the anticipation, when we're feeling anger, when we're feeling frustration, because the thing's not happening fast enough, because we don't know the pieces, because it's frustrating being a good person who's aligning to your path and you're taking the steps to do what you need to do, but you're not seeing the pieces falling into place in the timely fashion you wish they would fall into. It's divine timing, and we need to trust the universe, the beautiful cosmos alignment, because it is bringing the pieces into alignment. So not only with our practice here are we aligned to ourselves, we're aligning in a calendar, so to speak, that is the container that the heavens, right, the heavenly hieroglyphics, the cosmic codes, we could call them, are giving us the messages of the cycles and the patterns and the rhythms that are happening naturally in nature. And they can hold us so that we can show up being all of these pieces, right? I'm a piece of you. I'm you. You're me. We are all it in this oneness. This is just the beautiful diversity of all that's here in this rendering. And when we show up in the highest frequencies we can, in our highest alignment, using things like higher creative thinking skills, higher intelligence, higher emotional intelligence, all of those things, we get to create and render the highest rendition of the manifestations of what it is in this beautiful, sacred game of life that we're showing up in this choose your own adventure. And so I'm helping you with how you're going to show up in that game of life this week. And as we move on with the transits, we have Uranus, breakthrough, innovation, new paradigms, sextiling, in harmonious union, right? And in a harmonious relationship with Neptune, dreams, but also dissolving the dreams. It's an illusion that our dream life is not here. It's all here. Can you feel it? Can you feel that life you're dreaming? It's here. Can you feel the people that need your serving? They're here. Can you feel the sacred partnership? It's here. Be it, the you that you need to be for it to align and the pieces to drop in, right? The divine, sacred universe, source, whatever you call that energy, right? That divine energy, that's not going to give it to you in timing that's not divine timing. Why would it want to give to you in a way that's not the life of your calling, right? So be patient, loves. Be patient, loves. And we're doing this Uranus, Gemini, in Gemini, sextile Neptune, in Aries, It's a place of new beginnings, right? A new storyline, an evolving identity with this fluidity, right? Of being who we are and creating the life that serves us as we serve the world by being ourselves, right? Let me tell you, I'm feeling it especially this week. The dream is real. The dream is real, loves, right? Be the real you so your real dreams can find you, right? All right, then we move on and we have Uranus in Gemini, trine Pluto in Aquarius. We have communication in that breakthrough, innovative, new paradigm energy. Gemini's mindset, its insights, it's the way we think, right? So we're letting go constantly of what does not grow, letting go of what's not in the know, letting go of what does not serve our higher path, because that's the one we're walking on if we showed up here in the Astro Cafe. New insight is reshaping the collective power now. I'm not going to be surprised if people, as we were starting the week, ending last week, we go into the next week, are going to show up on your path. The ideas that they have, the support that they have, or that they give to you, right? Because it's so sacred as we each hold that dream, the dream we have in the world that we are creating, each of our in ourselves, right? In our own differentiation, in our own individuation of our life and our world. And then our worlds collide with other worlds of those precious sacred souls who are being their God self, their God, goddess, source, unlimited, highest potential selves to create the highest scenarios they can that are on their soul mission, right? Look at the precious hands of that child just holding the world, holding their own world. We can think of the bubble around us that is our toroidal field, right? Our aura that's filled with our feelings, our thoughts we're putting out, and our coherence of that, so that we can show up in the way we need to serve and steward the life that calls us, that we're here to co-create. Oh, it's so juicy. I'm so excited to show you some places you can go in your own chart to glean a little more info here. As we end our week, we have Mars, the sacred warrior, or the altruistic activism that's in our lives, the why behind your work, the force that's moving through you to bring these things through, that's in Gemini, right? Lots of ideas, lots of thoughts. It's time to upgrade them. Be with the newest version. Be with the newest version of you, right? Be in that newness. And it's sextile in harmonious union with Saturn. Saturn, the planet of manifestation, of containment, of creating the things that will last, that are in service to you. It's not that disciplinarian teacher that's saying, do it this way, or an outer authority. No, Saturn loves you. Saturn loves us. It's wanting us to be in service. But if we look at the word of service, of discipline, we see disciple. It wants us to follow our own path, build the structures and the containers, the offerings to ourselves and others, right? That are in alignment with our calling, right? So this week, oh my gosh, this is this thing that I really want to gift you with this week about anxiety that's been building over the last days and weeks. If you've had dreams, if you've had visions of feeling something coming to you, right? That part of that is Saturn, that masterful energy. It's like you are the artist of your life who's creating the masterpiece. As we're putting these pieces together, as you're putting the pieces of yourself together, you know the old story, Humpty Dumpty couldn't get back together again. Oh yes, Humpty Dumpty could. Humpty Dumpty is getting put back together again this week. Let the pieces that have been hiding, that have been lost. Remember them. Let them be remembered. Remember yourself. Remember your dreams. Remember what brings you back to yourself. What are the practices, right? What are the things that bring you the joy, that bring you the aliveness? Give yourself permission to follow them, to do them, right? Effort meets structure without friction, right? So in this harmonious relationship between activism, doing the thing, and Saturn, like creating the thing, bringing it into manifestation, if we're feeling friction, it's because we want it. We want it. We want it so badly. If we think about the caterpillar who is created with one set of DNA in its body, and then also another set of DNA that's in its body, the butterfly, and all of a sudden, a flash moment happens when enough of the imaginal cells, they are called, of the butterfly start clustering and grouping and clustering and grouping together the bits and pieces of what it is, remembering the bits and pieces that are us, letting go of the ones that are not truly there or that don't serve us anymore, if maybe our ego's been holding them to protect us. And then in a flash moment, like Course of Miracles, releasing any beliefs about time or space and any constructs that have been holding us, catching our limiting beliefs as we go, not just stating our affirmations and creating them in a masterful way, but living them, living our life as an affirmation, where we are affirming the life that's calling us, what we are here for, right? If we're feeling stuck when we're serving people, or we're creating the thing we're trying to create that we're offering, if we just go into service and show up with our presence instead of performance or perfection, right? That's when those pieces will show, right? And then in a flash, as we let go of those old constructs, we let go of what is not serving, and we receive, the butterfly comes, the butterfly awakens, the transcendence happens, the transformation happens, right? So those pieces are wanting to come. So when we're feeling the anxiousness, the pressure, it's more of a practice of not trying to figure out what to do in our activism or our altruism. It's about taking care of the vessel. Breathe. Breathe. What's feeling tight? It's speaking. Listen to the part that's tender. Honor it. Ask it. Have it show you. You have all you need. The God, Goddess, Source, all that is in you, I am. It's there and it will guide, right? That's the energy. So it's really huge here. Effort meets structure without friction is the translation I've given. And by the way, down below, feel free to give any translations that you'd like. Effort meets structure without friction was my translation of Mars in Gemini, sextile Saturn in Aries. Let momentum deliver what you've prayed. That's my forward action. And as a professional astrologer who was a former elementary school teacher and assistant principal, I have broken down the first line under each transit. Remember, you are the transit living your life. I've brought them down into elementary level for you. And then as a professional international coach, federation coach, I've let the second line, let momentum deliver what you prayed, be the forward action that I invite you to. That momentum, I believe, is what we're feeling. When we feel the struggle, like the caterpillar and the butterfly, when we feel the tension, the anxiety, the friction, right? Let the friction go. Breathe and become all you are to allow the friction or the anxiety to go, because you're feeling potentially the momentum coming that is bringing the new pieces in your life. So how can we apply this in our lives? If we're looking at a transit chart here, we can look at where the moon is. What houses are the moon in this week for you? If you look at your Cancer, magnified Cancer, Leo, and Virgo, the houses that are here might be areas of life. You could look and see what number house they are in for some life themes that might be showing up for you. We had an important transit happening at the beginning of Gemini. We could look at what house is at the beginning of Gemini that might give us some inkling about the desires we have and where we might want to put some attention to help create in our lives. We had a lot of, up here. We had a lot of Uranus action, and that looks like this one. And we could look at our Uranus gate in our human design to find like a golden nugget to help us alchemize what gift is here for us that could help us to show up. A superpower might be hidden there. And then as a professional life coach, I'm here to also offer 3 powerful questions this week. And I curate those for us by looking at the 3 transits that I feel are the most, where the most potential lies for the manifestation we're desiring as we're walking the bridge of our higher path, becoming who we need to become to manifest the life that is calling us. And the people who have been reporting in, who have been actually doing the inner work of answering these powerful open-ended questions, they are having their lives changed. The questions this week: what sudden shift is asking for trust? It is one thing just to identify what that is. You need to take a minute to get to that space. And if we don't know the answer, we can ask it, and then it will arrive if we are being the frequencies we need to receive it, right? What sudden shift is asking for trust? And then once we know that answer, we can walk with that this week. What new thinking wants to be shared? And is that being shared out here in the offerings that you're inviting the world to? Or is it wanting to be shared with you on an inner? What small action could build something lasting? What small action could build something lasting? And then we also, for those who want to go deeper, because we have some people here who are dipping their toes, welcome. If this is your first time, welcome. These are the planetary days of the week. They never change. Wednesday is always Mercury Day. Friday is always Venus Day, as an example. Down here we have a little cheat sheet info on the kind of energy that naturally correlates with that day. These days of the week were taken from those, but now we've kind of gotten into a bit of a construct that seems a little boxy with the days of the week and the Gregorian calendar and things I won't get into here. But this gives us an alternative to look at how to flow with what's happening. And then when we look at in the universe, when we look at the transits, and then we also look at that moon, where the energy of the moon, that's kind of our feelings. Sometimes they flow real well. Sometimes, they're a little wonky, and life gets messy sometimes, and sometimes it flows, right? But in this kind of white, you can see here this like a white encapsulated section, that's what's happening this week. And that part changes every week. And up here we have our Cancer season, and next week we'll go into Leo. Up here we have a mantra of the week. We could check to see that we're on this week. If you'd like to go back and look at some weeks in the past, you can check out the playlist and find that as well. Some of you are not here just to dabble, you're here to deep dive. And I would invite you to use your intuition. Go back to the intention that you set at the beginning of the Astrocast. Get the soul nourishment that you've come to gather by looking at or feeling into what jumped out at you, because that might be where you want to go deeper. And for those of you who want to go deeper, and there's a third level of peeps here, I'll tell you in a sec, I have the three places to go into your chart written out for you. So if you are beta testing with me, you already have this conversation with the cosmos. Otherwise, just you can have it freely. Just comment below that you would like it, or you can go over and follow me at teresaann.soulguide on Instagram, or the other places that you can find down below to gain some more resources. Now, this week marks a very important time, a threshold that we're crossing as a community that has been practicing feeling seen by the stars. Our higher self hub is going to be opening soon. The higher self hub will be a place that not only will we have an Astro lab to help us explore what's going on out there, what's going on in here, where we will learn about how to handle transits and reading that information, but we will also look at how do I read my own birth chart? Because I don't want to gatekeep. I want to teach you at whatever level you want to be able to hold the information yourself so that you have that at your fingertips. And there will be a resource library inside the higher self hub that helps us to walk our highest path, right? So that we can live our highest calling, our higher calling and our highest destiny. And so besides the Astro lab, we will also have a human design lab and a Gene Keys lab. And within those labs, we'll have some drop down micro lessons. And this is probably a place that we will find our dabblers going into the free welcome center. And then we'll have our deep divers going into the resource libraries and some of the micro lessons that they'll have access to in these different labs. And also sharing in some sharing spaces where you'll get to create a profile with a little info about yourself so you can connect with some soul family that will really help you on your higher path. Because sometimes we see ourselves in each other and we can learn from that. And it's really helpful to learn together in community as some of the third level people, which I would call a devotee, right? So we're either dipping our toes, or we've been going deeper, deep diving, or we've been really devoted to our higher calling and our highest destiny. And so wherever you are welcome. This is the kind of thing with our Astrocast for the week. It meets you where you're at. Even if you stumbled upon a week that is not happening now, time's a construct in my lens, and there's always something there for you. It'll meet you where it's at, right? It is not linear. It's multi-dimensional. All right, and for those of you, while we're waiting for the hub, and you can get on the wait list wherever you can, wherever you follow, and I know we're new to this channel is new, but you can still comment down below if you want to get on the wait list and I can get in touch with you. But for now, while we're waiting for the higher self hub to come about, we can do our sharing on Wednesdays Central Time at our Soul Connect live call, where we can ask any questions about anything we've covered, anything at all under the stars. We can bring our charts if you want to have your chart read. We can share the shares, share the vulnerable shares. If there's part of you that you want to practice being and showing up as, and you're not able to do that in your community or in your family, come there. It's a place to practice being fully yourself, not holding back. Now, when we have our higher self hub open, there will be a place to share your shares. You can upload charts and have community help you read them. You can ask questions. You can share shares in a vulnerable place. And we'll also have some live workshops and immersions and kinds of things happening inside. And we do those by looking at what is most requested. And that's really fun, because then we have a finger on the pulse of our community together, and we help each other. Because what we're doing here is we're not memorizing astrology, right? We're not trying to remember the whole week. Who can do that? I can't do that, right? It'll be Wednesday, and I'll be like, well, okay, what was going on again? And so then I'll take a screenshot, and I'll zoom out, and I'll zoom in, and I'll see what's going on. So feel free to take a screenshot of this. You can also request a PDF, and in the Higher Self Hub, all those resources will be there for you, and you can get a copy of that on Wednesday's call if you'd like as well, or just request. The Wednesday calls are at noon live Central Time. Just go ahead and request the link if you'd like, or you can request the link to the replay if you'd like. And you know, this whole experience of immersing ourselves with the practice of being the highest level of authenticity we can. It's not a higher self in that it's an idealized self that's meeting some outer expectations of who we need to be and we're achieving and blah, blah. No, it's about being the highest level of authenticity in the ways that we feel safe and finding those ways to do that so that we gain and build that trust in ourselves and that empowerment as we go. And we come from the kind of lens here of Jungian psychology and Joseph Campbell's hero's journey, because Carl Jung was an astrologer and he used the archetypes of the zodiac when he was using that word archetype for those self-discovery explorations. And then we're using the Joseph Campbell idea of the hero's journey to have this collective understanding within our community that we all have times that we're going on the loop-de-loop where we're stuck in the weeds of the story. And all of life every day, right, is an opportunity to evolve. To evolve, we're fluid. Who we were last week isn't who we were this week, especially even day by day and moment by moment, right? I can go to the grocery store and back and feel like I've been 3 versions of myself by the time I get back home, right? Especially when I go out with intention, believing in the possibilities, showing up with presence, right? Look, a lot of this can feel really overwhelming. Forget it all. Forget it all. Because if you just take a breath and think, what's best for me and everyone involved? You're going to get there. That's it, in the moment, right? But what happens is when we do this work is that we remember the wounds we might carry and how they can become the sacred medicine or the magic that helps us to kind of pierce the timeline, make the breakthrough happen. And there was a lot of Uranus this week, so a lot of breakthrough happening to get to that next rendition, that next level in the game of life, so to speak, so that we can keep transcending and keep ascending, right? So I hope that you found one golden nugget in what's going on out there to help you navigate your bridge of becoming and walking on your highest path when you're embracing and loving, absolutely loving who is in here. So I'm sending you much love this week as you are unlearning the conditioning and embracing the truth in you and building the boldness, the courage to be you in a way that only you can do.